attempting to change Wisconsin's bail system. Some lawmakers are doing so, calling it broken, while others aren't convinced. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Lee Mills.
And I'm John Stofflet. Amending the state constitution is on the line, and so is the way judges set bail amounts for violent crimes.
NBC 15's Michelle Beck was at the public hearing this morning. Michelle, you heard the name of the Waukesha parade attacker mentioned multiple times.
That's right. Darrell Brooks got out of jail on a $1,000 bail days before the 2021 Christmas parade. Some lawmakers are pointing to this case to question how bail is set in Wisconsin.
While Darrell Brooks and the Waukesha parade murders are the highest profile incident.
This is how Republican State Senator Van Wangard makes his opening statement Tuesday.
It is not the only time violent criminal have committed an additional violent crime while on release or on bail.
He's testifying for Joint Resolution 2, which he hopes will give Wisconsin judges more flexibility, as he calls it, in setting cash bail.
Our attempt to modernize Wisconsin's broken bail system, bring it in line with the rest of the country.
Currently, judges in the state can use bail amounts only to ensure a person accused of a crime will come to court. The proposal is to have judges consider more factors like past convictions and serious harm to a community.
This is a very, very common sense measure.
The public hearing drew supporters like Waukesha County's Deputy District Attorney.
This is about a constitutional amendment that simply allows judges to take into consideration dangerousness.
Meanwhile, questions flooded in from those like State Senator Chris Larson. He says access to cash should not affect who's released.
Why are we not taking money out of the equation entirely? Darrell Brooks would have committed it whether he may have done this whether he had to pay $20,000, $50,000. The money had nothing to do with it. He shouldn't have been released, and we should change the system accordingly.
Meanwhile, the goal is to get this measure approved in the legislature so that it makes it to the spring ballot. That is where voters can give the final say through a statewide referendum, which would amend the state constitution. Live in the studio, Michelle Beck, NBC 15 News.